Right, here are solutions to quiz 7 for Math 65. This first question, we're just asked to factor these two special forms. All right, so kind of if you know the formula, you can do them. If you don't, it's going to be a little bit tough. But hopefully I at least hinted in class that these would be on there. The formula that you need is anytime you have something cubed plus something else cubed, that factors into this times this. And as long as I'm here, there's another formula when you have a difference of cubes rather than a sum of cubes, a difference of cubes. The formula is pretty similar, except now instead of a plus b, it's a minus b, and then over here we have a squared plus ab plus b squared. So these are things you can check by multiplying these together to see that you do in fact get here. Multiply these together, make sure you do in fact get here. But I don't know, the book presents it as this special form that you can just recognize, and when you see this, you'll know how to factor. So that's what we do here on this first one. If you recognize that 27 is 3 cubed, what we really have here is x cubed plus 3 cubed. And then you're like, oh, that's a lot like this top one. The a is x, and the b is 3. So a cubed plus, or maybe x cubed plus 3 cubed is really just equal to x plus 3 times x squared from right here minus 3x. That's minus a times b minus 3x plus 9. And then if you want, you can look at this for a while. Make sure you can't factor it any further. You won't be able to. But looking for two numbers that multiply to be 9 and add to be negative 3. Which you'll see is this polynomial is prime, so we're done factoring right here. And that's the end. Part B is pretty similar, except now we're using this bottom formula here. The a is again equal to x, but the b, instead of being equal to 3, is equal to 2, because what we are given here is x cubed minus 2 cubed. So again, following the formula, you can say this is the same as x minus 2 times x squared minus 2x, plus 2x plus 4. That's just this bottom formula right here. Putting in a x everywhere I see an a, and putting in a 2 everywhere I see a b. So, okay, those are those special forms. I don't know that's all that important, but it's on the syllabus, so I mentioned it. Something that I think you'll use more frequently going forward in math is this idea here where we factor these polynomials. When the leading coefficient is not 1, there's a couple ways to do it. You can try just guessing and checking, but I think the method that we learned in class would be to find two numbers, maybe find two numbers that multiply to, in this case it'll be negative 20, that's 2 times the negative 10, and that add, supposed to be a dot, to, let's see, negative 1 in this case, because we have negative 1x here. So you look at that for a little while, and I think eventually what you'll come up with is negative 5 and positive 4. And so what you do with those numbers is you rewrite this. Instead of saying 2x squared minus x, we say minus 5x, and then plus 4x minus 10. So basically replace this minus x with minus 5x plus 4x. Then you can factor by grouping. These guys both have an x in common, so you pull that out and you're left with 2x minus 5. These guys both have a 2 in common. Factor that out. Oops. Factor that out, you get a 2x minus 5. And then you look at this as something plus something else, and both of those somethings have a 2x minus 5 in common. So you pull out 2x minus 5 from both of them. And what you're left with is, well, over here we'll have an x, and over here we have a 2. And so this right here is the answer. You can check it if you want by multiplying back together, but I'm pretty confident I did it right, so I'll just leave that. And down here we can do same thing. Now we want two numbers that multiply to, let's see, 3 times negative 12 is negative 36, and that add to positive 5. Might take you a little while to find these ones, but I think eventually you'll come up with 9 and -4 are the numbers you want. Guess I'm putting these in brackets, whatever, parentheses. So what you do with this 9 and -4 is you rewrite this polynomial. Instead of 3x squared plus 5x minus 12, you do 3x squared plus 9x minus 4x minus 12. And then from these first two terms, you can factor out a 3x, and you're left with x plus 3. And from these next terms, you'll factor out a -4, and you're left with x plus 3. And you factor out an x plus 3 from both of those. And what we're left with is 3x minus 4 for the final answer. If you had done -4, 9, written these in a slightly different order, the work would look a little bit different, but you should get to the same answer, same as up here. So just a word of caution that your work might look slightly different, but you should end up with this times this, maybe written backwards perhaps. But that's the end of this quiz.